Good night. Thank you for subscribing even though we're going to bed.
It's Chris Hansen.
Ah,
Perry Francis the first, I'm confused. You told me you sucked Harsey. When did you spill your beans in
you're
his
a
asshole?
liar!
Tell the
You son of
truth.
a
You
bitch!
sucked him off.
Good night!
All right. Good night, Perry.
Bitch.
Does it feel good that you honored the offer and you ended on a good note and you made people happy? Does that make you feel good?
This is the last streamer! Oh!
This is the last streamer? What does that mean? What does that mean? But do you? My question is, do you feel good that you made up for your Skittles scam?
We're done! Good night!
I'm just asking a question. It's a yes or no. Do you feel good that you honored people and you made them feel good?
You drive me insane!
Can you answer the question?
Good night!
Do you feel good that you honored your part of the bargain and you gave people what they delivered?
I always give people what they want.
Hey, look at that. Clutch Canuck, 5 gifted subs. Thank you, Clutch Canuck.
Good night!
That's awesome. Thank you. Well, you really like to keep it dark in there.
Good night!
Are you shutting down your computer?
Right now.
No, please don't do that. I'll end it. You don't have to do that. Let me end it, Perry. I'm tired of you shutting down the computer. Let me end it.
Bye!
Hey, look at that. Your buddy Dexter Coleman. Oh, he's shut down. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Dexter. And thanks, Clutch Canuck. I love those last minute sub donations. Thanks, guys. Seriously, thank you. And thanks to everybody who donated to the Skittle scam, for lack of a better term. What am I wearing? Man, I'll tell you what, I'm running out of clothes because this appliance shortage. So I bought this. Again, I'm going broke buying all these appliances for this house, and I took it into account. But like, so there was like a 4th of July sale, and I needed to buy a washer dryer. But the washer is in stock, the dryer isn't. So I don't have a dryer right now. But anyway, I'm wearing a blue shirt, light blue shirt, and short pants. Yeah. And the tiki bar in the backyard is classy, but yeah, it's so disappointing. I not to get too personal, but there's a bigger story behind it. Like somebody was trying to like help me with it, and they really got railroaded. And this guy's just an ass. Like first thing he said is that he has a website and everything. And here's the quote, came and measured the space and everything and said, I'll basically pre-treat everything for at my place, and then I'll come over to build, and I have a whole crew, and this is what we do. That wasn't the case at all. They came with nothing. Then they went to Lowe's, and they probably bought the cheapest like shit wood they could find. They didn't even go through the bins. They just whatever was there, and they couldn't wait to get out of here either. When after they built it, I had asked for shelving on the bar. They didn't do that. They were all packed up, ready to go. I said, "What about the shelving?" Oh, okay. And then they like lazily tacked on one shelf to the point where there's like screw nails sticking out of the back. Anyway, it was just, and I don't think this guy's a licensed contractor either. We're trying to figure that out. He claims he was, but I don't think he is. I think he's illegally doing it. Anyway, he's got a website and he's got like social. So it might come to the point. I don't want to do this. I think if that's I don't know what I need right now as far as help, but I definitely appreciate it. Jesus is helping me tremendously, giving me a lot of good advice. So I might need. I don't want to have to use this in my arsenal when I call. I got to call him tomorrow actually, and he's just he's like a little child. It's like dealing with Perry. He's just he's just being like evasive and like, what do you want? He types like LOL, he types emojis and stuff, which is like, this is how you talk to a client. And so I might say like, hey, listen, I do a stream where I have a huge loyal fan base, and they're not people that you want on your bad side. And I don't want, I think it's cheesy to like threaten like bad reviews or something like that, but it might come down to that. I was even thinking of going with like one of those like news outlets. They always do something like 7 on your side or somebody on your side, where they they invest, because this is ripe for that. I mean, I feel comfortable enough to tell you guys this, but like, the price on this tiki bar was $5,500. Okay, I didn't pay him all up front. No, it was like half up front, half on delivery. And there's more to it. There's more to it than that. Okay, because like, this was basically somebody else was helping me out with it, and the guy, what I was saying to Perry is, tell the contractor I'm going to cancel his Adult Swim. Yeah, that might work. But the guy, you pay a premium price, you expect a premium product, and this is not a premium product. I'll post some pictures. Joey's seen it, and Hero's seen it. Scott's seen it. Jesus has seen it. I even sent one to West Most. But it's just garbage construction. It looks okay, like the frame of it is okay, like the design of it is okay, but it's not uniform. The bar top itself is not flush at all. There's like huge gaps, and it's just, again, I'm not joking. It looks like the Little Rascals built this thing, and it's just really upsetting and really depressing. The guys like this. So I'll post pictures, and it looks okay. Like the exterior looks okay. It's just when you get close up, that's when it's thing. So maybe I'll post some in the Facebook group tomorrow. But did I get the tiki inspiration from Red Bar? No, I always wanted to have a tiki bar. Because if one of my good friends has kind of a bar that he made. He made it himself. I don't have those skills at all. And I always wanted one. I always wanted to have a bar. He didn't even, and he was supposed to put a thing in there for electric. He didn't do that either. And this thing is just loaded with split wood. They even left their nails on the ground, like when they left. Like, I had to pick up the nails. It's like, who does that? Like, what kind of contractor does that? And again, it's just like taking pride. I don't care what you do. You should take pride in your job, pride in your work. And for this guy to be okay with that, and I sent texts of the pictures. This is a problem, and he just laughs it off. He's like, "Oh, that's no big deal. It's wood. What do you expect? It's a wood bar." It's like, yeah, it's a wood bar that cost $5,500. Again, and that's money that I just don't have to spend on something like that. And it's just really. It's a bummer. It's a bummer. So it's been stressing me out this week because the guy's been such a dick. But I'm gonna. Oh, Liz works for a labor law firm. Wow. See, anyway, I know the PCL community is good, and like that's what other people were saying. Like, oh, you should unleash the hounds. But I'm gonna go other routes first. I mean, I'm gonna tell them straight up. I mean, what I really want is I want a full refund, but I will accept him taking out the costs of the materials. And since he was so cheap on the wood, the most expensive thing on the bar is this PVC covering on the top of the roof. That's probably the most expensive. The rest is just cheap wood, So, it's stained and everything like that, but it's just, it sounds like a job for Dan Dizek, yeah. I'm not that kind of guy either. I'm not a troublemaker. I really am not, and I hate people that complain about little things like that. But yeah, I have Faster Blade. I have a contractor that actually worked on this house, like with the guy who flipped it, and he's been a very decent guy. But this bar thing came up kind of without my knowledge early on. Like somebody else kind of set it up for me. Otherwise, I probably would have gone with somebody else. Did I review materials with the guy before you? You have to review materials with the guy before he executes an SB nuts bolts. Yeah, I wasn't even present when this was built. I was in California Actually, no, that's not true. I was present, but I was still busy moving stuff out of the. Call him right now. We'll call him on the stream. I'm gonna record the call when I call him tomorrow. Just see. I'm gonna be very even tempered, and I'm gonna see what happens. I'll report back on Friday, but I'll post pictures and stuff. Yeah, it just stinks. You know, it's like nobody likes to get ripped off by somebody, but you know, this is my first experience again, like home ownership stuff. I've never been in this position before. Where, you know, it's just, I had all these plans for the bar too, but right now it's just sitting there. It's definitely not being used. I will fast forward. Yeah, I actually do need a good, because there's another thing I want to do, and again, when I have the money to do it, the room I'm in right now actually is kind of, I just have like boxes in. I'm not making it my my office really, but I want to turn the room I'm in right now to a media room. But there needs to be some changes in here because the room I'm in now was actually meant to be a bedroom, and it just doesn't work for a bedroom for me for many reasons. But so I actually need a contractor for that. But yeah, so I might take you up on that. Do you know what else thinks? The 12 plus eggs in Perry's apartment. Yeah, I Hero and I were talking about that earlier. I think there's an egg still in one of the one of those that red mug. I think still has an egg. Yeah, and then again, like, this house didn't have much in it, so I'm spending money on the air conditioning that's finally getting installed next week. I bought a grill yesterday, which I've never bought before, and that was stressful because I don't know if anybody else is like this. I'm an obsessive researcher if I'm buying anything like that. Buying anything really, I'd say. So I spent like 48 hours, like on and off. I had work to do and stuff, but on my off time, I'm researching grills and stuff like that. I want to get the right one, and I probably and I'm just like, at this point, I'm like, I've spent way too much on everything I was expecting to pay up to this point. But oh yeah, the mug might have the broken egg. That's true. Yeah. My parents hired my friend's company to pebble cement their driveway in the past, and they did a crap job. The whole situation becomes a depressing fiasco quickly. Yeah, exactly. What do you do in that situation? What I don't understand is, if I was in that situation and I just would be ashamed if somebody was sending pictures and it looked like that. I'd be like, I'll be right over. And this guy, I gotta chase him down. He doesn't come after me. And yeah, as far as the grill go, I got a Napoleon grill, and what I liked about Napoleon grills are they're made in Canada. They're not made in China. Like Weber's made in China now. I got propane, but the Napoleon lets you. What I like about it is it has a thing where you can put charcoal and wood chips in, and you can get basically charcoal in it and have the same charcoal experience. But the thing I really like about this grill, it's the only one that had the infrared sear station, because all the other sear stations were gas. Like Weber claims to have a sear station, but it's nonsense because it's still gas, propane based, sear station. Gas is not going to get higher than like 700 degrees maybe, whereas the infrared can get up to about 1800 degrees Fahrenheit. So it has a side sear station for like steaks and stuff, which is great, which is what I wanted. Because if you go into the like infrared grills period, those things are like $7,000 and up. That's completely out of my price range. But yeah, Weber, unfortunately, they moved to China. They manufacture in China, because I was looking at Weber originally, but I went with Napoleon after a lot of research, and it's lifetime warranty. Every part lifetime warranty, which is good. So with something like a grill, with a grill, what you're really gonna look at is warranty stuff. So I'm looking forward to it, and I went with a slightly higher model than I would have because I just wanted to be over it. So I'm going into basically. What I'm telling you is I'm going into insane debt with this stuff. But I didn't want to mail it in because I grew up having like the shittiest grills. Like my dad would always buy like whatever the shit grill is at the box store or whatever, and I just, and then they would break down like every 5 years, and you're going to be spending like $200-300 every 5 years. You might as well just get a really good one. Am I going to Pittsburgh sear, Tom? Yeah, I like Pittsburgh rare is the way I like my steak. So I like Pittsburgh rare. And basically the way I would cook a steak is in a cast iron grill in good butter, and then sear for like high end sear on like 30 seconds aside. But yeah, so it just super stressful to even have to research things. As I researched my refrigerator, which I had to, measurements and everything. I had to buy a washer dryer, had to research that. Broil King's a good brand, Tony. Excellent brand. I'd say the 3 brands to consider, really, it comes down to 3. This is from my research, would be Weber, Broil King, and Napoleon. If you got one of those 3 brands, you're doing pretty good. No, Weber, the company, is not Chinese, but they manufacture in China now. That's the problem. I'll tell you what model I got. I got the Napoleon Prestige Pro 665 gas grill with infrared side burner, real steel, stainless steel. Stainless steel is another thing to look for, and it has a built-in rotisserie, which I like. So I got a slightly bigger. What I got basically is like an outdoor kitchen. I don't have the kind of backyard to build an outdoor kitchen, even though I really always wanted an outdoor kitchen. So the one I got, and I got a good price on it too, and no tax too. The site already had no tax, so that was huge. So it's the if you look it up, there's a lot of good YouTube videos on it. The Rogue's a good series too, Phantom. Napoleon. I had heard of Napoleon, but I never really dived deep until recently. I watched a lot of YouTube videos. I went into Reddit and looked up a lot of reviews and stuff. Everything came back to Napoleon, particularly the Prestige series, and then they make the Prestige Pro. Like there's a built-in light inside the grill when you open it up. Even the gas knobs light up, and when you turn on, they glow red. It's like a safety feature. There's like a lot of little like bells and whistles on it that I like, but not gimmicky stuff. And what I liked about this grill is it gave you a lot of premium features that are on other grills that are way more expensive, like in the 5,000 plus range, but in a more affordable price level. And it just came down to this. That's what I want. Could we stream Faster Blade live from Tiki Bar? Yeah, I want Faster Blade, John, all the locals to come over to the Tiki Bar. We'll grill and we'll hang out. Absolutely, yes. You can do your stream from here. Yeah, I'll cook you guys steaks or whatever. But yeah, I just want, and also like the house I bought doesn't have gas. It has electric, and the electric stove's fine. But I like cooking on gas, so it's like basically going to be an outdoor kitchen. And I want to get like a flat top on there too. And I got the slightly wider one to just have more real estate to cook on. So and it'll just like meats and vegetables type stuff. Bill asked, yes, we'll get the East Coast group. Jesus said he might even come up, and he's a little further down south than us, but we can make a whole thing of it. Because I owe him big time too, especially since he's really giving me a lot of solid advice on how to deal with this asshole. No female. No, you're invited, Liz. It's not East Coast PCL people are invited. Once I get everything up and running, I would never invite anybody over now with the way this bar is. What am I planning with Perry's new screen? What do you mean by that? How many Hawaiian shirts I don't have any Hawaiian shirt. I'm not a Hawaiian shirt guy. I just like the aesthetic of a tiki bar. And I was making it a Super Mario Brothers 3 themed. We were calling it the Tanuki Tiki. I even found somebody to design the logo for it, but it's just so depressing at this point because I had so many plans for it, and it's just such shit. I like barbecuing in the winter on a snowstorm. Yeah, and that's another thing. Like I grew up like in my house. Like once it became like November, it was like, oh, the grill was put away, the cover was put, it was put in the garage forever. Like my mom had this thing. Like she wouldn't buy. I love lemonade and iced tea. She wouldn't buy lemonade and iced tea anymore. I'm like, wait a second, where's the lemonade? It's like, oh, that's a summer drink. You have to wait till next summer. I was like, no, I want it now. And that's like I'm gonna use that grill in blizzards. Like I'm gonna be out there in January. Like I don't believe in this shutting down. I don't believe that with pools either. If I had a pool, I would keep that year round. I know that would get really expensive though. Go ahead and wear a Hawaiian shirt on Friday. Okay. Yeah, I have this picture of me when I was like, I had to be like 1986, and I was really into Miami Vice. Like I love Miami Vice, and I have this great picture of me and like with like Crockett sunglasses and like a Hawaiian shirt. That's the only time I ever owned a Hawaiian shirt. You got to chug eggnog on a 90-degree day. Then that's fair. I've never had eggnog. I have this. Yeah, I have a weird thing. You know, it's hypocritical. Like I hate soup in the summer. Like I hate soup in the summer. I can't have a hot bowl of soup in the summer. Yeah, Mumbles called me on that. Yeah, so on that regard, I'm a hypocrite. Maybe I just prefer summer beverages and summer activities more, and I want to keep extending the thing. I want to get a fire pit too, because I think that extends your outdoor season a little bit if you have a fire pit. I ate soup a couple weeks ago and remember what Tom said. I felt so disgusted. Was it on a hot day? Because I just don't understand how you can have a bowl of soup on a hot day. You weren't born in '86. Yeah, I know. I'm older. Yeah. So how old was I? I was 11, I think, in that photo. Soup in the summers for the elderly. Yeah, it's kind of gross. Like I just won't be with. Like I have a friend that loves soup, like one of my best friends, and we go out and I have to prerequisite. Like we'll go out for dinner or something like that. He's like, oh, where do you want to go? I was like, oh, we'll go here. And I was like, listen, you can't order soup. He's like, why not? I was like, it's disgusting. Like watching you sweat is disgusting. Yeah, like I can't deal with it unless it's like at night and it's cooler out. Maybe I can agree. Garrett says he likes soup in the summer. I mean, I like certain kinds of soup, but I'm overall not a big soup guy. Oh, hold on. Oh, Perry sent an apology text. He's like, "I'm sorry for raging out and closing my computer. Please, kindly forgive me." He writes. You gotta like that. I gotta call him now. I gotta call him now for that because that was nice to hear. I like that. See, that's nice. He catches him. He does catch himself. You guys don't see. You guys don't really see this side of Perry. I really like that. That just made me really happy. I am picky as fuck. Absolutely. Totally agree with you. No, he's not going to answer his phone.
Please leave your...
Call the other number. Yeah, I am the first to admit that I'm extremely particular, and I'm extremely like, I like things a certain way. I hate gazpachos. Ooh, that's disgusting. I think you're right, Mitch. I think that's exactly what's going on right now. Garrett says he probably calmed down after he rage rubbed one out. Whatever. He's not answering. I'll call him back because I want to thank him for that text. Do I scream at people when I don't get things my way? No, I try not to. See, that's the thing though. I usually do obsessive research on anything I buy. Like I have to hold. Like I had ideas for this media room. Like I wanted a certain TV. I wanted certain sound system. I have to put that on the back burner because I can't afford it. There's no. It's just with it not. I didn't take into account everything else that this house would need. So all that stuff's in the back burner. But with the bar, I didn't put my normal diligence into it. I just there was some cursory research and like, oh, this guy looks reputable. And you go to the website. He has some good looks on there. I don't want to share it just now because I don't want to completely out the guy just yet. I want to see what happens. But it looked reputable. So that's kind of. Tom's hatred of certain lights being on is the best. Well, it's mainly just that dining room light. That dining room light is just killer for this stream. I hate it. Because it just floods the whole stream. HammerBros.com. Me and John could have made your bar for your tip comments. Again, there's more to it. I'll tell you in private. There's more to it. It wasn't just me that was involved in this. 9 out of 10 times contractors are awful. Unfortunately, it happens a lot. People can't remain employed by others, start their own business, and causes issues for their clients. Yeah, I mean, this claims to be a family business. Okay, so let's talk about this. What happened with Tracy Elliott? Because I wasn't paying attention to this, and I just see she posted in Perry Caravello Live. It was great knowing you all, but Joey Braggs just disgust me. Fuck him. I'll delete my account here on Discord and Twitch. Love you all, but Joey can eat my ass. What happened? What did I miss? Good God. I will, Faster, but yeah, I'll definitely reach out about the contractor. Yeah. Thank you, and thanks for this. Thanks for this. I know I know Team PCL will have my back on this. If I have to go down that road where I say, hey, I have an army of people that's gonna come after you. We'll see. To be continued. I want to see how this goes first. Gimmick account. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really know her. And apparently, she's now deleted the Twitch account, her Facebook account, and Discord account. So that's very strange. I don't know what happened there. What? So Joey, what? So you gotta fill us in. What happened? Joey, do you want to call in and talk about it? Would that be easier? Do you have Skype rather than typing it out? I'm just trying to call Perry back. So I'm very curious about this. Garrett says, I think people asked her if she wanted to call Perry on Sunday, and it spiraled. What's the issue there? Yeah, hold on, Perry. Hang on a second. I want to put you. Perry, I just wanted to say real quick. I don't mean to disagree. I really appreciate your text message that you sent because it made me feel better when you apologized for kind of raging out and closing the stream. Because I know you catch yourself certain times. I just want to say because I was kind of upset the way you ended things, but I appreciate the apology. I just want to say that it means a lot.
You know, I don't like being mad at you or yelling at you and shit.
I appreciate
this. Stream gets to me.
I get it, but I appreciate you coming off it and apologize. That takes a man to apologize, and I just want to say I appreciate it and thank you. That goes a long way.
Okay, all right. Just got out of the shower. I am ripped. I can't believe I do what I do.
Yeah, well, this is our job. Anyway, I'll call you tomorrow. We'll set up that gimbal device, okay?
Oh, the new tripod.
Yeah.
Call me tomorrow night. Just during the day I'm tied up.
What are you doing tomorrow during the day?
Right now, I'm so tired I don't even know what I'm going to do tomorrow. But if it's hot, I can't do nothing but stay here.
Okay, so I'll call you during the day.
Yeah. Okay.
All right?
Yeah. It's probably going to be another 100-degree fucking day like it was today.
Hey, it's summertime, man. You live in the valley. It's hot here, too.
Yes, 100 degrees here, 120 in Palm Springs, okay?
Good Lord, can you imagine?
Yeah, I know. I've already lived it, so I know what I'm talking about. 110 in the high desert, 120 in the low. Okay?
All right. Look, I just want to say thank you, because you got a little ornery at times during the stream, and I was concerned, but I like that you manned up and apologized. So thank you. I just want to tell seriously, thank you. I really appreciate that.
You know, dude, if I didn't have a guy like you helping me out the way you are, I don't know where I'd be right now.
I don't know you, Perry. Look, I love you, dude. I tell you that all the time. I love you. I love you. No matter even when you curse it, even when you call me a mother effer and fire me and give me the finger, I still love you.
Look, I am still offended over what happened to you some years ago. Okay?
We don't need to get into that.
We don't need to get into 1992 either.
Fair enough. Well, you told it for the last time, didn't you?
Thank you.
Okay. All right, you get going. I just wanted, Perry. I just wanted to tell you thank you. I just wanted to say thank you for that.
All right. Well, guess what? Bring up 1992 again, then I'm going to bring up what happened to you in overseas.
All right. Well,
okay?
Gentleman's agreement. That's fair.
End of story. Have a good night.
All right, Perry. Take care. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, fair is fair. I really wanted to. I really wanted to reach out and say I like getting a text like that. It's a side of Perry that you guys don't see, even the few of you that hate Perry. He has, and that's kind of what I try to do on the stream is show a different side of him. All right, let me catch up on. Okay, we're back to this Tracy Elliott thing because that I got interrupted with that. Okay, so here it says Joey asked her if she would like a call from Perry, and she went off the deep end, accusing him of gender discrimination and crossing lines. Strange. How did she come to that conclusion? Robert, heavy drinking. Okay, that could explain some of it. She constantly talks about kicking dudes in the balls for money and working at the morgue and watching the stream drunk. Okay. And she just deleted her account. I don't recall Tracy Elliott in the face, but yes, she said, I think just the other day that she's going to go back on Facebook to join our group, but it clearly didn't last long. TomB, can you tell Perry the faster blade says F you? No, I'm sorry I didn't get to that, but I'll get to that tomorrow. Caravello, he's been putting up good effort with the Patreon content. I agree. He's been very good at content creation lately. I agree. I think our Patreon page is killer. I really do. I think there's a lot of great stuff on there. You'll hear there's phone calls, there's voicemails, there's videos of him, there's there's the streams obviously on the Credenza level, but there's a lot of stuff on there. Yeah, I agree with you. He's definitely putting the effort in. Because he's seeing the benefit from it, I mean, so, when he's not raging out in the moment, he's definitely cognizant of how good it is. Tom and Perry are brothers for life. That's true, Russell. And thanks for your. I saw some of your comments earlier. I want to thank you for that. You had some good, very astute observations, and 100% right. People who hate Perry, F off. I don't disagree with you. Tracy is Kim Richards. Yeah, I'd like to get to the bottom of the Tracy thing. I really would. It just seems so weird because I kind of caught it out of the side of my eye. I can't pay attention to the chat 100% of the time when we're in the middle of something, but I saw it happening and I didn't comment on it. I didn't comment on it at the time, but because I didn't know what was going on, and I think at the time we were doing something on the stream. I didn't want to. Once in a while, I'll mention stuff in the chat on the stream, but yeah, there's a rhythm to everything. Tom, if I go to Las Vegas, can I share a room with Perry? Maybe we'll auction that off. Tom, how long can Perry keep doing this? There needs to be a Perry Appreciation Day where we're actually nice to him and don't give him a near heart attack. You're not giving him a heart attack. But that would be nice. I don't know how realistic that would be. I really don't. But I think he can do this indefinitely. We've talked about it. I think we're going to take a little break sometime either at the end of the summer or sometime in September. I'm not sure yet, but we're going to take a little time off. And like a week or so. Not a long time off. Not like months off. Just like a week or so. I think you guys might enjoy it too. Just a little break, and I want to firm things up tech wise. There's a lot of stuff I want to incorporate. Again, it all comes down to money that I friggin' don't have. But we'll see. But yeah, in answer to your question, yes. I think this can go on for a long time. If I have a sexual experience with Perry, can I have free stunt offers for life? Yeah, I would need to see video evidence of that. Tony's gonna butter up. Yeah, Tony. I was gonna get to a Tony Hawk call tonight, but it just by the time things got on, I felt like it just was the wrong time. So maybe we'll just do that on Sunday. George, your call wasn't boring. I don't get people really. They're very hard on themselves with the Subscriber Sunday calls. They're mostly really good. Subscriber Sunday is my favorite, really. I mean, for selfish reasons, because I can kind of take some time off during the calls. I like them to go a little long, just selfishly, because I can kind of take a breather. I can go, there's times I've had a quick bite to eat, during a Subscriber Sunday call. But no, I thought you were great. Once in a while, there's somebody that gets maybe a little too nervous or just doesn't know what to say, and that's natural, But then you can try again, and it's fun. I think everybody's pretty good. How about a Tony Cox call? That would be funny. Yeah, by the way, the people that type ZZZ during people's phone calls, that don't do that, because you know what? That's somebody, they don't do this professionally. They're just trying to interact with Perry, and they're having fun. You know, let them live. Let these people live when they, you know, if let's say it's putting you, let's say it's making you bored, like, because I guarantee you the person that's making the phone call is also watching the chat. And I know this for a fact, because I know when people have called in for the first time, they'll tell me, like, man, I was looking at the chat and the chat loved what I did and it made me feel really good. Or conversely, I was looking at the chat and they were typing ZZ or they were saying boring and it made me feel like shit. I don't want anybody in our community feeling bad. And so as much as we talk about how great our community is, like, you know, let's support people that are a part of this. Maybe you don't like a guy calling in who talks to Perry about whatever. It could be skateboarding or whatever. But, you know, let's support the people. Anybody who calls in is a subscriber. So let's acknowledge that. And let's, you know, let's give them a cursory thing. Now, there's some people that probably, you know, if somebody goes off the rails, you know, maybe they rightfully deserve a little targeted critique. But, you know, I think most of them, yeah, somebody says I love 99.9% of the calls. I think it's a very high percentage of good calls. Really do. And there's some people that get a little, you know, shaky or whatever, but they're probably nervous, and, you know, maybe they'll call back. But I think they'll get discouraged if they see, like, you know, everybody in the chat saying how much they stink or whatever. Joey says, not everyone is capable of pissing Perry off like West Most or Faster Blade. Some people just want to chat with Perry. And that's true. That's true. I think some people get a little starstruck. like bringing one egg. It's funny, Dank, too. Like, your egg is still up there. And it's what is it, going on 3 weeks now? And he was at the AC today when he was putting the mouse on top of the thing. I thought he was gonna, like, I'm getting rid of this egg, but he just completely ignored it and kept it there. I think your egg is gonna have the record for how long it's been on top of the AC. I think that's the longest time an AC egg has been up there. Yeah, tell me about it, Tony. Tony Hawk says Perry can be tough to keep on topic. I've discovered that. Yes, I agree. Did Westmost pay Chris Hansen for the interview? No, not at all. So, by the way, the Chris Hansen interview is tomorrow. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific. They're doing a premiere on YouTube, so it's going to be playing in real time, and there'll be a chat. So it'd be nice if we went in there. Let's not troll it. Let's not be, you know, let's not be crude, because they have moderators in there. So let's be cool and supportive, because I would like to show some support for that. It's part of my egg magic. I'm invisible to Perry. You really are. I mean, it's ridiculous. And that thing's got to stink because it's been hot there, and, you know, he doesn't always have that AC running. I actually like the YouTube streams going up on a delay. It lets me relive them without being too fresh in my mind. Well, good news. They're always going to be on a delay, so that's good. And I appreciate you saying that. I'm going to have the next stream out on YouTube soon. Not to get too detailed because it's boring, but the next stream in the queue, the next stream in order, is extremely problematic. There's, like, audio issues and stuff, and it just takes me a longer time to do those ones. Not only does it take me a longer time, I put it off. Like, you know, I have other work to do, and, like, I still got to do this stream, and it's just like, it's just a slug to get through. But anyway, I'm hoping to have that up sometime this week. And as we get on forward, there'll be more and more, and we'll catch up at some point. But again, I think YouTube is always going to be my ideal would be about a month behind current. And then you have the option of Patreon if you want, the immediacy of them. I've had some parallel experiences to Perry. The same week he had burger problems, I ended up having a similar incident. Also been violated as well, and I've had my own microwave mishap. Believe me, I'm worried about submitting a call request, but I think it's a good time. Yeah, I'd like to get some different people on Subscriber Sunday. There's a lot of subscribers that just say like, "Oh, I would love to call Perry, but I'm too shy or whatever." Just do it. Just call in. You'll be surprised. Which stream had JQA abducting me? That was not on a stream. That's not PCL content. Yeah, he really did wolf down that Impossible Burger, but it did not look appealing on any level. It did not make me want to get him. Has Perry been able to pay debts to family and former JW associates? Not JW associates. Those guys are excommunicado, and they didn't contribute a thing to him. So there's nothing to pay back there. But yeah, he's working on paying back family. There was other things to cover first, like he was like months and months and months behind on rent, and there were other things that needed to pay. But yeah, he's working on paying his family back, which is good. You got to pay your debts back. Will you ever be allowed to kill the microwave? I don't know. You got the screen thing. He got a really nice screen. Everything you would need to get that screen fitted today, but it's hard to say. It's hard to say if he'll actually do it or not. Oh, that's a good tip, Ollie. Pro tip: leave the room when you call. Don't be in front of the screen. Don't watch the stream when you call. I actually agree with that. How much of the Big Three podcasts are we to count as Perry canon and PCL streams? It's just two different things. PCL is like real Perry, and I think you see different sides of Perry. They're not. It's not the same thing. So there's no way for me to really answer that. I think PCL has its own canon and own thing to work with, and other things may come in and out. But I think the longer PCL goes, PCL is the true Perry reality as far as I'm concerned. I think you see a lot of different sides from him, which I think people enjoy. Mitch says, if you were dropping more than a G on him every month, he probably owes you the most. Yes, I mean, by far, I am the biggest benefactor from when he lost disability. By far, not even a contest, but there's other people that are more eager. Let me just put it this way. There's other people who are far more eager and impatient to be paid back than I am. So they're in line first, and we'll see what happens. Tim says, TomB, let's have a stream where Perry tells us what he's willing to do and at what price. Could be funny. Yeah, it could be. And then 2 hours later, he'll forget what he said. And then, then we'll like, okay, Perry, someone's willing to take you up on the offer to remove your bathroom door. What? I never said that. No, Perry, you said it. It's your word. No, I didn't. I don't remember that. So you're going to, it could be interesting, though. Denk gives very good advice here. Pro tip, dominate the conversation. Perry gets sidetracked very easily. Let him talk, but don't let him stray too far. Reel him in immediately when he gets into his fog. That's expert level, master level Perry advice. Very good. Yes, that's true. And that's what the like Wes Most does really well. Wes Most will not let Perry drift off or dominate the conversation. Perry, Wes. That's why Wes is such a good caller. He really dominates the let you be the alpha on the conversation. We need Ricky to call in. I don't know about that. I don't know who Ricky is. Yeah, Tony's very good at that too. Tony Hawk is good at it. Like, you run, if Perry's calling you for Subscriber Sunday, that's your moment. Like, again, it's like Perry doesn't understand the art of conversation. He'll I always say, don't get stuck in the weeds, but Perry gets stuck in the weeds a lot, where he'll go off subject to like a side topic, or talk about Palm Springs or whatever, or like, it's like when I was a kid, my mother used to give me oranges on Tuesdays, and I would say, why can't I have oranges every day? And it's oh, hold on, Perry, what are you talking about oranges for? I wanted to know, if you're going to do this offer that I presented. Sorry. Then he'll, get him back. Don't be afraid to dominate a little bit, but you do run the risk of him hanging up. So there's a balance there. He's got to find that right level. Or the weather, yeah. I hate when he does it less. He does it less now, but like when somebody calls in, not calls in, like he'll call them, and they'll answer the phone, like, hello? Like, hi, this is Perry Caravello live. Who am I speaking to? Oh, this is Joe. Joe who? Joe who? And almost like, this is clearly somebody I know. And it's like, well, first of all, you don't have to give him your last name. Why are you asking for last names? Don't ask these people their last names. It's like we touched on it a little bit tonight, where it's like, this guy came on our stream recently. He just discovered us a couple of years ago, a couple of weeks ago, and now he's at. But I don't know who that is. I don't know these people on my stream. Like, right, you don't have to know them personally, but they're part of your community. They're loyal. Like, but I don't know who they are. Right. And, you can have that conversation into infinity. But yeah, it's just. It's so annoying. Yeah, he loves doxing people. Like, he does give area codes too. Is this 213? Yes, it is. Okay, and he's good. He's like, all right, I know where that is. Like, that's Chicago. That's Las Vegas. That's he knows area codes way better than I do. I don't know anything about area codes. Yeah, Joey says, all right, he hears my name twice a stream, 3 days a week, and still says Joey who. Again, Joey, when you get, see, you're too nice. The nice people, unless you're a female with like huge tits, the nice people have a harder time getting into his brain. Like Spider Rico now is firmly implanted. Like, there's no more who's this guy. It's like, it took Wes Most a long time. Wes Most who's Wes Most? Now he knows who Wes Most is. You better believe he knows who Wes Most is. Tom, I'd like to review every episode of the A-Team with you. You know, I think I said this before. Like I tried watching the A-Team again like a couple of years ago. I think it was on Netflix or something. I couldn't believe how bad. Not bad. I can't say it's bad, but I just couldn't believe that this was on network TV for as long as it was. What is it, 5 seasons? But I remember as a kid, I always liked the ones where they came close to getting captured. Who was the guy that was always after them? Like they're called Man on the Run shows. And I think it was probably started with The Fugitive in the 60s, where there's somebody on the run, usually innocent, but there's always somebody chasing them down. Like The Incredible Hulk was a Man on the Run show, where, you know, somebody's on the run and there's a guy chasing after him. And the A-Team was kind of like that, where they're on the run and they help people out, and then there was that guy, Colonel whatever, that was always chasing them. Yeah, skip to season 2 of the A-Team. I agree with that. Although the pilot's not bad, but the pilot doesn't have Dirk Benedict, which is crazy. Spider Rico says, I stole the whole screen door bid from you, Tom. One stream, Perry had trouble opening the door, and you told him to cut it, and he flipped out, so I ran with it. But now I'm stuck. Oh, I didn't know that. I give you full credit for the screen door. Yeah, Decker. Thank you, Spider. That Decker was the guy in the A-Team that was hunting down the A-Team. And Mr. McGee was the guy that was hunting down David Banner on the Hulk. Right. There's always that guy that does that. Like The Fugitive had Lieutenant Gerard. You know, there's the movie The Fugitive, but the TV show The Fugitive is fantastic. Better than the movie. I think Branded was another one. And that was, and I only remember it because it was this really old show that would air like very early Sunday mornings here in New York. And there's probably we probably go through a whole list of Man on the Run shows. There hasn't been one in a long time that at least I know of, where somebody's on the run from the law or something and just goes from town to town, like. And they encounter new people every week or whatever. It's such a formula. It works, though. If it's done well, it works really well. Actually, a very good Man on the Run show that goes under the radar, and I remember watching it when it was on TV, is Starman, which was the TV series based on the movie Starman, the John Carpenter. And they did a TV version of it, and it was very Man on the Run-ish. There was a guy like chasing... You know, Starman. It wasn't Jeff Bridges, of course. It was the guy Robert Hayes, who was in Airplane, played the Jeff Bridges character. It only ran for like I think 1 season, but it was a very good Man on the Run. Three's Company, I don't think qualifies as Man on the Run. That's a good question, Mumbles. I didn't watch Prison Break either. Prison Break might be a Man on the Run show. I don't know. Yeah, I agree. Starman is orphan. The HBO The Hitcher is The Hitchhiker. Is that I don't know that. Is that a guy? Wasn't that an anthology show? I haven't thought about that in a long time. That show. I'm trying to think in my brain other one. I think there's a ton in the 80s alone. Love you too, Cha Cha. Good night. I'm gonna wrap up soon too, so you're not gonna miss much. Kung Fu. Yes, Kung Fu is a Man on the Run show. Oh, season 2 of Prison Break is on the run. First episode is Breakout and Escape. Okay, that kind of how. Highway to Heaven with Michael Landon was a Man on a Walk show. That's true. And Highway to Heaven follows the template of Man on the Run, except there's nobody chasing them. There's no like, that's the one show that you know, like you could have had the devil chasing them or something like that. I don't know, or somebody who works for Satan chasing them, and then you would have had it. I try to end my phone call on a positive note. I'll definitely have a good segue for any screen door offers or comments that come in. Oh, Mitch, you watched Doctor Sleep. Okay, yeah, we talked about that a while back. I watched Doctor Sleep. Was fantastic. One of my only favorite horror movies. Sorry, I read that wrong. One of my only favorite horror movies is The Shining. Yeah, I think Doctor Sleep is fantastic. It's a great sequel. It's hard to do a sequel to a film that came so far beyond, like the original movie, and I think it really just was. It's unfortunate that it didn't do very well at the box office. Jordan Hoff says, for Subscriber Sunday, could we ever be Skype alternative or something? Yeah, I think so. I think I want to work on that, either through Discord or Skype. That's the next step. I've been researching how to do that. See, the problem with Skype is that once people have the Skype name or like the Skype number, they could just call in whenever and interrupt the stream. So I might have to have like a second Skype account just for the calls, but I don't know how that would work. But yeah, Skype would be ideal. But then, and I've seen this on other streams, like if somebody, you give out your Skype name, I'm running Skype all the time because that's how Perry's poured it in. So somebody could just have that and then just call in and just annoy the stream. But Discord might be a way to go. Condor was based on 3 Days of the Condor movie and was a Man on the Run and pretty good. I did not know that. That's interesting. Yeah, Dr. Sleep, it's shockingly good considering Stephen King was involved in making it. Maybe that's why it didn't do so well. I think it didn't do so well for a couple of reasons. I think the title is terrible. I don't think a lot of people knew that it was a sequel to The Shining. You know, I think calling it The Shining 2 would be tacky. And I also don't think, even though I think Ewan McGregor did a great job, I think for the movie to sell better, probably could have used a bigger name as the lead. Even though I think Ewan McGregor does an amazing job. It's one of his better roles. And I personally wouldn't change him. But from a marketing sense, I don't think it was well marketed. I think it came out... When did it come out? It came out like October that year, which should be ideal. Maybe it could have came out in a different time of year. Like maybe you release. I'm big with like release date, like when a movie's released. Like maybe that felt like more of a March release. Like maybe it comes out in March. It's a different story. It's just so strange. There's so many things that have to break right for a movie to do well. Use Discord and only have it so you can drag people into a call room. Okay, I got to figure out how to do that. Tweet. I don't know how to do that. I'll look into how to do that, but I think Discord would probably be the answer for calls on the stream. Even going forward, when I have things set up with like a camera for after hours and we take calls here, because I could do Skype right now, but I think Discord's the way to go. I just got to look into it. I'm sure Joey will help me out with that. TomB has a thing for Hugh McGregor. I do and I don't. He's been in a lot of clunkers. I love him in Trainspotting and the second Trainspotting. I think he's an okay Obi-Wan Kenobi, but is hamstrung by poor dialogue and storytelling. He's good in certain things, but he's not always a home run. Yeah, you saw the trailer before Joker. It looked like me. I don't watch trailers anymore. If there's a movie I want to see, I go out of my way not to watch the trailer because trailers are so bad. There used to be an art form to making a good trailer. Same way that there used to be an art form to making a good movie poster. When's the last time you saw a good movie poster for a movie? they're garbage now. And the same thing, it's like the art of trailers and movie posters have both plummeted to the point where they're just garbage. Okay, yeah. So people are saying Discord. So I think Discord will be the way to go with phone calls. I'll work that out. If I can work it out before this Sunday, maybe we'll do that. And that way, maybe I can control the call. Even though I think Perry has to have a level of control with the call if he wants to hang up on somebody. I think he's entitled to have some. Sometimes he's too quick on the trigger. If Hugh McGregor tried to kiss me, how hard would I fight back before giving in? I'd fight pretty hard. He's not my type at all. And I wouldn't, no. I think I mean, again, I would tell him that I did like him in Dr. Sleep. I do think he's really, I do think he's fine. And again, I've talked about that a lot on the stream, but if you haven't seen it, and if you like The Shining, you owe it to yourself to watch Dr. Sleep. The 3-hour version I hear is better. I still haven't seen the 3-hour version. I want to see the 3-hour version, but I hear that's the one to go for. All they showed at Black Widow were movie trailers, and I didn't want to see that movie, but got a free ticket. Ooh, I hear Black Widow is really bad. Is it as bad as people say? I'm not going to see it, but I hear it's really bad. Oh, all they showed is Marvel trailers. What else? What Marvel trailers? What Marvel movies are coming out? Can I name a worse child actor than Jake Lloyd? I probably could if I thought about it. I feel bad that he got so maligned with, because you know what, there were so many problems with that movie, and he wasn't even in the top 5. I don't think. Yeah, there's worse child actors, but nobody that I could name. Like, there's movies that I've seen that have kids in them, and I'm like, oh my god, this kid is so bad. Like, how did this kid get this role? But Jake Lloyd, like, the name because he was, again, the mistake in that movie was making Anakin Skywalker a little kid. Nobody wanted to see that. Nobody wanted to see Anakin Skywalker as a little kid. You should have started him out as an adolescent. So he was against the 8 ball. And he had terrible dialogue. And terrible direction. George Lucas doesn't know how to direct. He really doesn't. So, you're hamstrung. That's why I think Hayden Christensen gets a bad rap for playing Anakin in especially the second movie, because it's just so bad. It's like, it's just, the dialogue is so bad. And, unfortunately, at the time, with George Lucas, I just think he was just surrounded by so many yes men, like that producer that I think his name was Rick McCallum. I mean, he was just licking Lucas's ass every 2 seconds. And when you're in that atmosphere where everyone's telling you that, oh no, everything's great that you do, it shouldn't change anything. The guy that really challenged Lucas was Gary Kurtz, who directed the first Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back. He challenged him so much that he got fired. And it's not, and that's honestly, I think that's a big reason why Return of the Jedi is not as good, because Gary Kurtz was fired because he challenged Lucas on the direction of Return of the Jedi in the scripting stage. He basically said Gary Kurtz is the one that said it's really lame to have a second Death Star. We already did that. We need to go bigger, and the problem is, he really fought for certain things in The Empire Strikes Back. There's a great book, if you're really interested in, like, a lot of dirt on the making of, like, especially the first 3 movies. It's an old book. You'd have to track it down. It's called Empire Rising or Empire Building. And it really gives a lot of insight. And the guy who wrote the book did a lot of talking with Gary Kurtz, who was always on the outside of Lucasfilm after The Empire Strikes Back, because he was fired, because he went over budget on The Empire Strikes Back by a lot, but fought for certain things, like this needs to happen this way, this thing's happen this way. Like, he's the guy that said, we need to shoot in Norway for the Hoth scenes. It's not going to work on a soundstage. You know, of course, they wanted to shoot on a soundstage. He fought for, you know, the real elements, and of course, it pays off. All the things that he fought for pays off, and he went over budget, but the movie made money. But I think there was a lot on the line with Empire because Lucas put his own money into it, which is something you never want to do as a producer. But anyway, it goes on and on and on. But he challenged Lucas and got fired, and he found a guy much later when he was doing the special editions and the prequels that just was kissing his ass and being a yes man, and he wasn't challenged at all. Tom, are you an angel? No, I'm not. That's a bad. It's a bad line delivery. It's a bad. There's a couple of really bad deliveries in that. Like, are you an angel? And then there's like, you know, I think he calls a lightsaber like, I saw your laser sword. But you know, that's all in the script. That's his line delivery, and that's the direction he was given. So you gotta blame Lucas more than you blame Jake Lloyd for, you know, those cringe lines. Tanner Boyle from Bad News Bears was the best child. Yeah, hard to beat. I'll agree with that. Richard Donner was very good at directing kids. Yeah, very sad that he passed away last week. I have ginger in my mix. Yeah, I mean, you can really go through that movie with a fine-tooth comb. I haven't seen any of the prequels in a long time, probably since they came out, or at least came out on like DVD or whatever, and I don't plan on ever seeing them again. So they are what they are, but compare them to the sequel trilogy, and it's, you know, their stock gets raised a little bit. You know, it's the rising tide syndrome. Oh, I didn't know that. Microwave Brigade says, the pisser is that some casting videos emerged a couple of years ago. They had a kid who had great reads of those lines, but he went with Jake Lloyd because he was in Jingle All the Way. Yeah, I did know. I don't know. Ron Howard was a ginger. He, can you still be a ginger if you've gone completely bald? I don't think I've seen Jingle all the way through. I've seen bits and pieces of it. I don't think I was the target audience for it. It's never appealed to me. Despite I do like Sinbad. I actually will say that I like Sinbad. I think I don't know. How can you not like Sinbad? Like, I don't love Sinbad, but I don't like dislike him. But I think I was more embarrassed for Schwarzenegger being in that movie for anything else. Oh, Hero got to visit Lucas Ranch a few times. Guy's ego is unreal, but you have to admire what he built. Big Rock had a fake lake with Star Wars statues appearing to float like islands. Dude lives in another world. Yeah, I've never been there, but people that I know that have visited Lucas Ranch say the same thing. Like, it's just otherworldly. Things have gone from sin bad to sin worse. That's cute and funny, as Barry would say. I should give Captain Ron another look. I haven't seen it. Like, I have no memory of it, really. To the point where I don't even know if I've seen it. That's like how foggy Captain Ron is for me. Oh, you interviewed at Lucas Ranch at the studios. in the Presidio in San Francisco. That's cool. The closest I got was calling Lucasfilm. Well, I was working on a piece for God, why can't I remember the magazine now? Shit. Anyway, I was freelancing, and I was doing like Star Wars interviews, and I called Lucasfilm, and I like called like the main thing, and their hold music is all Star Wars like music and stuff, and spoke to their publisher, spoke to a lot of top people in Lucasfilm at the time. That was the closest I ever got, which really doesn't even count or qualify. TomB loves stand-up. You know it, Tony. You know it. Nothing better. You know what I love more than stand-up? I love when comics talk about their stand-up, especially on comedian podcasts. I love when a comedian talks about their craft and how they killed a room and how they handle hecklers and their great road stories of being in a hotel or being in airports or something. Really, I just want to listen to comedian podcasts as much as I can. Can't get enough of it, really. And how much they're dying to get back out there and make people laugh again. And to answer your question about doing stand-up, I did it it's something, there's a couple of things I've always wanted to do, and I think you break up things you always want to do. Like, okay, I want to do this, I want to do that, and you figure out what are the things that are realistic. One of the things that's realistic is anybody can do stand-up. Anybody. Literally anybody. Anybody. And the thing I give Perry so much credit for is like, you can pick apart his stand-up, but he had the balls to go up there, and he did really what a stand-up should do. It's like, when you look at his videos on YouTube, go look at Perry's stand-up from like the 90s. They're on his YouTube. He looks like he belongs there. He acts like he belongs there. He has good stage presence. He's not intimidated. He's pretty good at owning the room. He treats it like it should be. These people are here to see you. Not necessarily they didn't pay to see Perry, but they're there to be entertained. And he walks up on that stage and he has good presence. Forget about the material. Take that out of the equation. Your attitude, I think your attitude on stage it's more than 50%. I'm going to say it's about 70% of it. And then the rest is your actual material and your presentation and your delivery and your confidence and all that. But if you got the balls to go up there and you can act like you belong there, he's very comfortable on that stage and he's happy. And it's like this is his job, So if you watch Perry's stand up and mute it, he's not nervous at all. And that's the key. I mean, he locked that in. Now I don't know if he could do the same thing now because he's been away for so long, but that's what somebody told me. So my first stand up, and again, I hate stand up. I hate stand up comedians. Blah 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 blah. But yes, I did do it. Is when somebody gave me great advice. Like the first time I was going up, and he was just he was like a working comic. He wasn't like anybody super famous or anything like that. I think he opened for a couple of people, but he was just like, hey, is this your first time? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, look, just go out there. He's like, don't let them see you sweat, that type of stuff. But like, act like, don't go out there like this is your first time. Go out there like this is your 500th time and this is your job and you do it all the time. It's no big deal. And just, because an audience can smell fear. And any audience can smell fear. I don't care if you're a musician, if you're just doing public speaking, if you're doing anything, have that confidence. Even if it's fake confidence, have it. But yeah, Tony, it's a good point. Like Perry doesn't rush through his material. And a lot of people that start off stand up, they're guilty of that. That he let's forget about the actual material itself. He sets it up well. He tells the story. He knows when to raise his voice and when not to. And to that degree, I give him a ton of credit, because that's what you do. I mean, and he gets applause too. That's the other thing about Perry's stand-up. He gets applause and he gets laughs. Okay, people are maybe laughing at how outrageous the material is, but there's a way to tricking an audience. If they're, look, the people are there, they're already paying $12 for a Bud Light. They're being tricked into a fake atmosphere already. So you're making them laugh. You're making them buy into your stuff. And also the people that go to a random, like if you're going to a comedy club and you're not there to see somebody specific, whether it's an open mic, somebody to support a friend, and you're just showing up, that's a certain breed of person that's doing that. I never would, but they want to laugh. They're paying for the premium to laugh. You have to give a minimal effort to get a laugh out of those people. And so if your material is really good and you're hitting the right notes, then it's going to go over really well. So, you can really break it down like that. And I feel like I'm doing the thing that I hate now, too, where comedians talking about their craft, but I don't consider myself a comedian at all. I'm just saying that was my experience. And what I witnessed with Perry is I think he does a really good job of stage presence and stage confidence and storytelling. And those are the foundations you build on. And then if you have good material, that just makes it thing. How many comedy classes did you take, though? Pounds on that, yeah. No, I didn't take any comedy classes. But yeah, just be natural. There's some people that are there's some as much as I say I hate all comedians, there are some people that are funny. And if you're into it, and there are some good ones, Tony, too. Like look, Norm Macdonald. There's some ones that I won't say but I worship at their temple, because I'm like, this is a cut above the rest. This is not your normal hack comic. This isn't some guy searching for material. Asking the guy in the front row how long he's been married, or whatever. You see people like that opening for bigger acts all the time. But yeah, there's different types of people. But I just you talk about yourself too much. I mean, if you're interesting, that's okay. And again, but I'm not the arbiter. I'm not the master person who has all the answers and all the opinions. These are just my opinions. This is my perspective. Todd Barry's okay, but no, I don't. Yeah, okay, but I've not absorbed myself in a lot of Todd Barry, to be honest with you, Mumbles. Russell P. Chambers says, Perry's presence is commanding. Yes, I agree. We're fascinated with that man, and it's not because of anything he says. He's got more than the required resources when it comes to executing the cadences practiced by successful comedians. Also true. But he doesn't have the perception or insight to make it happen on his own. That's why Tom, Joey, and the rest of the crew make this magic work. I appreciate that, Russell. And I'll extend that to all of us, everybody, including yourself, everybody that calls, everybody that submits a tip comment, everybody submits offers. That's why this is such a great community, because I think we all bring out the best in him and the worst at times, but even, the worst can be amusing at times, but I think we all bring out the best in him. Because he does need that. He lacks that awareness to do it 100% on his own. That's again very insightful, and I agree with you 100%. I remember flipping channels, and there was a comedian on Showtime at the Apollo. I remember Showtime at the Apollo, who just yelled at the audience and talked about how his daddy never loved him. I wish I could find it again. That sounds very interesting. That sounds like my kind of cringe. But again, if you want, it's something I wanted to do, and I did it a number of times. I did it in New York. The last time I did it was in Philadelphia. That was the last time I did it, and I had a bad night where I got a little rattled by somebody in the crowd. I'll go into that story one day. It would take me too long to get into here, but and it was just thing. It was never something I was going to make a living out of. It was just something that was a curiosity. I wanted to do it. I always felt it was easy to do, and you know what? It is. It's pretty easy to do. Now, is it easy to do well? No, but it's easy to do. You know, I mean, it's one of those things. Like you could think, like, oh, I want to be a baseball player. I want to be okay. That's going to take a lot. You got to have natural talents for that. You're not going to jump into that. You can jump into stand-up comedy. Anybody here can go to an open mic tomorrow night and say that they did it. You can't do that for a lot of things, but it's very accessible. And I think there's a lot of bad people in stand-up comedy also. Bad people, like they're just bad people in general, like they're bad human beings, and also bad people in that they're just bad comedians. But they have the balls to do it, they have the prowess to do it, and they get away with a lot of things. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, Joe Rogan always goes on what funny conversations and times he and his comic friends have had over the years, and how it's another level of non-comics. Meanwhile, I've never heard a funny word or phrase out of my mouth. Yeah, and I've been in those situations, both in New York and in LA, where I've been around the comic circle, like where they're at, you know, whether it's the Comedy Store in LA or the Comedy Cellar in New York, and like the comedians huddle around. I'm usually on the periphery just listening in. They're fucking losers. They don't say anything like, you know, and they think that, yeah, this is like some club of theirs, you know, they're in this like Friars Club, and like they're just throwing around gold to everybody. It's terrible. Unless I'm missing the real beats of it, and they're saving the real gold for the back rooms somewhere. Oh, you only been doing it 6 months. Okay. Yeah. I actually think Tony, look, I'm going to say this, and I'm talking to specifically Tony Hawk. When you were in Perry's apartment, you were so, and I just to set that up, I didn't even know you were showing up at the door because I hadn't checked my messages from Joey or the moderators, and Joey made the green light to send you over. And when you opened the door, I didn't know what to expect, but you were immediately adapted to the situation. You were extremely quick, you were very funny, and you picked up on everything that other people were doing. So if I said something to you, you picked up on that. If you picked up on both Perry's rhythm and other people in the room, which is not easy to do. It's not an easy scenario to be. I mean, you really just thrown into the wolves, and you're able to handle it, and you were very commanding in a lot of ways. So if you can take that level of talent onto a stage, I think you do very well for yourself. You know, and I'm not blowing smoke up your butt. That's just my takeaway from it. You know, and I know we had Tony and I had little conversations in the kitchen area while the stream was going on. Like, didn't have a lot of room to breathe in there, obviously. But like, you know, Tony would say like, okay, how's this going? What's going on? And I said like, it's going great. Like you're doing great. Like it's great. But you know, I mean, if you can translate that onto the stage, I mean, God, I mean, that was so good. You know, we have another, like, you know, not to give anything away, but I want for Halloween, I want all the boys to kind of return. I don't know if I'll be out there. I don't know if by October we'll be doing another TomB week, but I would like to have trick-or-treaters show up to like Halloween time, and like have I think Tony said he wanted to do Johnny Lawrence from the Karate Kid, like dress up as Johnny, like have the gi and everything, and show up as Johnny Lawrence, and have Rick come back, Garrett of course, and that'll be like Halloween, closer to Halloween, which will probably come up faster than we think. We're in Philly. I think it was the Helium Comedy Club, Russell. The big one. There's a big comedy club in Philly. I think it was the Helium Comedy Club. That's the last place I performed. Do one of my sets on After Hours. Yeah, I don't think that works on a stream. You don't get. There's nothing worse than a comedian, and again, I don't consider myself a comedian, but a comedian doing jokes like on a podcast or something like that, or doing their thing, and they don't get any laughs. I don't know if this still goes on, but one of my favorite things I ever heard was on the Stern Show, the old Stern Show, because these comedians used to do this thing where they go on the road and then they go on whatever local shitty morning show there was, like local shitty whatever morning zoo guy, morning DJ, and I'm talking like 80s, 90s. It still could probably happen today, or maybe even early 2000s. Anyway, and what they do is they talk and they go in, they say, okay, I'm at Ha-Ha's tonight, whatever. Now you get a bigger person doing it too, like a Norm Macdonald would do that, or like even a Gilbert Gottfried or whatever. And obviously, if you're selling out theaters, you don't need to be doing that. But if you're playing a local club, that's kind of what you do. And what they end up doing is they'll sit in on the show and they'll work in their act into conversation. They'll find a way to work in their act. Like they can come up, they can talk about, somebody can say, oh, I bought a new barbecue. Yeah, you know what I hate about grilling? It's like, I remember when I was a kid and Dad would fire up the whole grill. And they get into their whole fucking whatever, some shoehorn thing into their act, and then the stupid DJ would laugh like ha ha ha, and then the guy's just cringeworthy stuff like crowbarring and thing. Anyway, so it was like early 2000s. I want to say like 2001, 2002. It was after Jackie left on Howard Stern, and that comedian Richard Jeni was sitting in, like he came in, and it was the first time he was on the show. I think it was around the time where they were trying out different people in the quote unquote Jackie chair, and I think the guy ended up killing himself. But anyway, he starts doing that. Like Robin's doing the news, and he starts saying like, boy, this reminds me of when I da-da-da-da-da. And Howard called him out on it. And he goes, dude, are you doing your act? Is this like shit from your act? And Richard Jeni, like fucking dead in the water, just goes like the meekest, yeah, you'd ever hear. Like he's like, I gotta find it. I think I clipped it one time because I played it back because I loved it's one of the reasons where I just love, it was such a subtle thing, and I just loved Howard for calling him out on it. He's like, dude, are you doing your act? He's like, yeah. He's like, no, don't do that here, man. We're just hanging out. Don't do your act on the thing. He's like, oh, okay. And the guy was pretty much silent for the rest of the show. He barely interrupted the news. It was like he wasn't there anymore. He just, like, Howard completely emasculated him, and he robbed him of all his power. But that's another, like, annoying thing that comedians do. Tony had a master poker face inside Perry's. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you need it. Here's the thing that Tony did that I couldn't believe. Tony actually ate that. Not only made that sandwich with the Rice Krispie treat and the duck egg and God whatever else was on there, and he ate it with Perry. He sold it to Perry and ate it with him. He made it, and it was that fruit, that durian fruit that we were all like ready to vomit. God. So kudos to Tony. First time you heard Jim Gaffigan was on your local radio station. Yeah, okay. He's the type of guy that would be doing that. Artie or Jackie, it's a no-brainer, Jackie. Less for the person, more for the era of which he was on. There's a huge difference between Jackie and Artie on the show. They serve different roles. Artie was more like just another cast member that was there. He was, the thing that I always give Artie the compliment for is he was the last voice of the everyman on the Howard Stern show, where he's a guy that was kind of a slob, even though he made a lot of money and he was obviously in a different, higher tax bracket than any of us. He was, he would talk about sports, he would talk about gambling. He was grounded. He would eat real food, not like Howard was orbiting around a different planet even then. So I think he helped ground the show for as long as he was on there. And then as soon as Artie was gone is when Howard, set his plan into motion, where he was just, completely removed from the core audience that made him, and away from the working class people, and just catered towards the elite. And that's when he did like AGT. Like, can you imagine when Artie was on the show, Howard doing AGT, and Artie not roasting him for it? But what I like, but Howard was always like, they would get on Artie a little bit. It took a long time. Artie was almost like, they were almost afraid to make fun of him for a while because he was the new guy. I loved the shit that Jackie would get made fun of. His cat dying, his shit stand up, selling his junk. Howard would always accuse him of like ripping off his audience by selling tchotchkes and stuff like that. I remember one time there was a big, really bad nor'easter storm on Long Island in the early 90s. I was still in high school, and I remember Jackie being so distraught because his basement flooded, and that's where he kept all of his merchandise, and Howard was just laughing at it, and he was like, could barely keep a straight face, and he was talking about all of Jackie's junk floating in his basement, like all of his coffee mugs, and Jackie was legitimately upset, and that's the stuff I love, because they would, and also Jackie was a good writer for Howard. He's a terrible comic, because he just tells dirty jokes, and that's annoying. But so I'm always going to go with Jackie just for he was for the longevity, and he was there. Excuse me, he was there for the best years of the show. No question. Artie Lang is a great storyteller, but a total scumbag. Yeah, and also he would tell the same stories over and over again. Anytime Jackie would puke, I would always die laughing. Artie was incredible despite times that he was a little too mean to Beetlejuice, but I kind of agree with you. I thought he was a little too mean to Beetlejuice too, and he was mean to a lot of the Whack Pack, but I think he was trying to get funny out of him, because it was funny when Beetlejuice would fight back at him. But yeah, he took it a little. I mean, he was really rough with like Gary the retard and stuff. And it was always funny, like, "Hey, retard!" I mean, can you imagine that going on now? They don't even allow that. I mean, I always say in the stream that it's a bad word for. I don't like Perry using it, but it's not the worst word in the world. But I can't imagine that being used now in that context on the Stern Show. Oh yeah, God. I forgot about his movie Beer League. Yeah, I think I watched it. I didn't pay money to see it, but I think I watched it when it came on DVD or something like that, back when there were still DVDs, and it was terrible. Was already telling the same stories during Stern 2. I only saw it on Anthony Cumia. Yeah, not to the extent that he did it on Cumia. On Cumia, it was like laughable because he was so high. On Stern, they even like there was times like Stern like actually had him tell the story. Like he told the pig story quite a bit on Stern. It wasn't so much the case of him telling it not knowing he told it. It was he'd tell it for a guest or something like that, or Howard was like, "Oh, tell him this story." But yeah, he did repeat a lot of stories. Yeah, Perry called Spider Rico the R word. Top 3 Whack Packers. That's going to be very easy. Number 1 with a bullet, not even close, is Eric the Actor for me. Eric the Actor, number 1. Number 2, Beetlejuice. And I like every aspect. I like both moody Beetlejuice and I like excitable Beetlejuice. You never knew which Beetlejuice you were gonna get. Sometimes he'd come in the studio, he'd be grumpy, and it would be like pulling teeth talking to him. And I thought that was funny. And then he'd be shot out of a cannon, like you couldn't shut him up. And I thought that was funny. He had very different facets. And then number 3, Hank the Angry Drunken Dwarf was fantastic. But Eric's number 1. And I've said it before. I've said it a ton of times. When Eric passed away, he took the Stern Show with him, because when Eric was still alive, calling into the Stern Show, as bad as Stern was, even at that point, I think he passed away in 2014, like September 2014, if I'm not mistaken, and he brought something out of Howard that was missing in other aspects of the show. Howard had genuine affection for him, and Howard knew that Eric was funny. And I thought during the time that Eric called in, you kind of were listening to old school Stern. Even if the call was 20 minutes, if it was 15 minutes, it was like that was old school Howard talking to Eric. And then once Eric passed away, that part of Howard was gone and gone forever. So Eric also has that distinction of basically ending the Stern Show for me and many other people. High pitch Eric, yeah, I mean, he's okay, but he's annoying. Eric is not funny independently. Everybody I mentioned, Eric, Beetlejuice, and Hank, they're funny independently. They don't need to be coached. They don't need to be like tagged along. They don't need stuff written for them to be funny. They're just funny. Eric needs bits and Eric needs direction to be funny. He's not funny on his own. He's got the voice, but that's it. Maybe when they pick on like his lifestyle or stuff like that. But yeah, I'd put Eric in the top 5 because he's been around a long time, but he's not in their category. Bigfoot, never really gave a shit about Bigfoot. Either version, the old Bigfoot or the new Bigfoot. Wendy, she's one note. And I can't, I like Fred the Elephant Boy. He's in the first tier of Whack Pack. He's one of the first Whack Packers, and I thought he was always funny. I think it was like 2005, and I remember because I was listening to it at the beach for some reason. I remember this. I was listening to it like a day later, like maybe at that point I was listening to it on MP3 or something like that. And he had this whole story about showing up to a book signing of Gary's, or some event of Gary. I don't know if it was a book signing. I don't think his book was out yet, but he was doing some kind of signing. And he crapped his pants. And Gary was telling the story about how bad Elephant Boy smelled and asked him if he shit his pants. And he had to admit yes, that he did it on the train on the way over. And he still showed up to Gary's event because he wanted to see it, even though he had a big crap in his pants. And Gary basically made him take care of it somewhere. And I forget the all ins and outs of it, but it was just so funny. And then they had Elephant Boy on the phone through the whole thing, and he was like so embarrassed about it. I liked it. Crackhead Bob was okay. I'll say okay. Yes, he was okay because of the voice. But again, I think Crackhead Bob was a complete bore. He needed everybody else to. I think the true Whack Packer is funny on their own and is enhanced by Howard and the staff. And then there's the other tier of Whack Packers that need heavy coaching and heavy bits and stuff to make them funny. Howard pushed against this, listeners, even Richard and Sal, who resented losing time on Eric the Midget's calls because he genuinely enjoyed the comedy. And yeah, I just I don't know how long it took me to come to that realization, but I just remember losing my interest, and I there was never a time and I've said this before, I grew up on Howard Stern. I really did. I first listened to him when I think I was in the 2nd grade when he was on NBC. The show helped form my sense of humor. I don't think I'd be working with Perry if it wasn't. There's so many things that the show instilled in me, and I would listen to every syllable of every episode, or every day, and I never imagined a time where I wouldn't be listening. I used to live in fear of him going off the air, like, oh my God, when's he going to retire? What am I going to do? What am I going to listen to? I never imagined that I'd be the one to leave him before he left me, and it just really came together after Eric passed away, and that he just went off. That was the last bastion of the Howard that I grew up with, the Howard that I loved, the Howard that made that show funny. And Eric brought out. I think Eric extended the life of that show for me by a number of years. Oh, Elliot Offen, I'll put him in the top. Elliot Offen top 5 for me for sure. In fact, I'll think I'll put Elliot Offen number 4 for me if I'm going past the top 3. Oh yeah, I forgot about Elliot Boy hitting on wrestler Rick Rude. That was there was a whole saga with Fred the Elephant Boy on the Stern Show. I'm sorry this is boring people that aren't Stern Show people, but there was a whole period. I think it was in the '90s where they found out that Fred the Elephant Boy was a bisexual swinger and had this girlfriend because they played this voice message that he left on, like, I guess it was maybe early internet, so I'm gonna say 95ish, and he went to this like phone bank where like people would leave messages, like dating sites or whatever, for like swingers, and somebody found Fred calling into this whatever, like swingers phone service, and they played a thing, and I remember it going along the lines of like, "Hi, bi couples, we are looking for a couple where the male is bi," and he emphasized that. "Please get in touch with box number," and and they played it over and over, and like by the time they got Fred on the phone, he was basically in tears. He was so embarrassed, and he couldn't get further away from it. But God, I just remember it was one of those cringy things that like they played, and I almost felt bad for him. No, not almost. I did feel bad for him. Beetlejuice and Gary, the R in the Battle of Wits. That's good, but I think Beetlejuice is in a different league than Gary. It's like a major league ball player playing with like somebody in like single A ball. Good Elephant Boy impression. Well, I just know that, and then he like, no, I'm not like that anymore. No, it's my girlfriend was making me do it. He had to backpedal so hard. I don't know if that's online anywhere, if you could look it up, but it's such a minor little saga, but it was so funny. It's just, because I remember the day they played it for the first time, and I think Howard was like, yeah, somebody told me that Elephant Boy is calling some, weird sex hotline. He's like, and then he didn't set up more, and then you heard and then you heard his message, and then within 10 minutes, Gary comes around and he goes like, Elephant Boy's on the phone. He's very upset that you're playing the message. He wants to talk about it, but he's begging you not to play it anymore. And and I think it was one of those times where I had to go to school or something like that, or I had to go to class, and I basically, and again, this is when the Stern Show was beautiful. Like, whether you were going to work or going to school, you would say, no, I'm going to sit in the car and listen to this because I got to hear how this turns out, and I got to hear it live. And there's just nothing like that anymore. Well, maybe Perry live to some people, but there's just nothing like that. Spell red, yeah. Beetlejuice spelling red, and it took me a while to figure out that he was spelling his name, and it was kind of sweet in a way. He'd say like Letter. He'd come close to spelling Lester because Lester's his real name, and it always was kind of sweet to me because you can just tell how ingrained that was to somebody like Beetlejuice, where it was really important for them to get him to how to spell his name in case he was ever in trouble. So I always thought that was kind of like, how long did it take him to commit that to memory? There was a girl I dated who lived in Jersey City where Beetlejuice was at the time. I think he's in Atlanta now. But I remember like being in her apartment, and she had some friends over. We were going out, I think, for her birthday or something like that. And the guy came in, he's like, oh man, I just saw Beetlejuice walking down the street. I was like, really? He's like, oh yeah, we see him all the time. And I was like, oh my God. And I literally ran out of the apartment, ran down the stairs. I said, which direction was he walking? And like a lunatic, I bolted out of her apartment and ran down the street looking for him. I think I went 5 blocks in every direction looking for him, ducking into stores. Where did he go? And I was like a crazy person. I never found him. And then I came back. I was like, and they thought I was crazy. They're like, you saw Beetlejuice? Like, yeah, we see him all the time. He's in the neighborhood. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I would have fucking killed to see him. And this is like, I forget what year it was, but maybe 2010. I think it's 2010. So I was still like really into the show at that point. Joey Boots was pretty good, but I don't count him as a whack packer. He's not a, there's certain qualifications. Did I watch Joey Boots YouTube videos like 10 years ago? Used to get people in public all worked up. Yeah, I think Joey Boots was way ahead of his time with YouTube. He was doing stuff on YouTube, like he was an early pioneer on YouTube. He had a great YouTube channel. I don't know if that channel's still up, but he would like confront people. He'd just walk around New York City all the time with like, with his camera or his phone or whatever. Probably his camera at that time, because I don't think phones looked that good at that time. He was great. Yeah, it was a bummer when he did. See, that's why I think he's very, Joey Boots has his issues, but he had his issues, but he's so high functioning you can't really call him a whack packer. But yeah. All right, good night, Dank. I'm actually gonna dip out too in a second. We'll see you on Friday. Thanks again for everything. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know like how many people are interested in Stern conversation, because a lot of people don't know Stern, or they just never listened, or they certainly didn't listen to the thing, the shows. But yeah, Boots did have balls of steel. Like he wouldn't back down, and he knew the law too, in terms of filming people. Like people always say, "Oh, you can't film; it's illegal." He's like, "No, it's not. No, it's not. I have every right to do this," and he was right. He did. Yeah, and what did he die of? Was it a drug overdose? I don't even remember. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that Tucker Carlson thing in Central Park. He didn't have no idea who Tucker Carlson was. I guess it was a long time ago, right? Because it wasn't back when Tucker was on CNN. He died of a heart attack, right? But was it? I thought it was drug related. It had to be drug related because he was relatively young. Heroin overdose. That's what I thought. That's too bad. Yeah, heroin, man. That's a kill. I mean, I've never been involved in it. Thank God. But yeah, it's a bitch. I think he was talented. One of the few guys that was outside, like, and at the time he was doing that YouTube stuff. I think the Stern Show started to wane a little bit, so I was always entertained by him. Sour Shoes too. Sour Shoes, for me at least, very short leash with him. Like I have a very short attention span for him. I find him more fascinating than entertaining, because he's so talented, but he's also so weird. Like I like the when he called like Steve Langford and did, and Steve Langford's like, "I want you to go to jail for this." Sour, listen, I want you to go to jail. Like those are great calls, but yeah, it's just terrible. He gets annoying. Otherwise, like he just like, okay, it's a little too much Sour Shoes. But if you're local in New York, and I don't know how many people would qualify for this, you would listen to other radio, and he would call, and Sour Shoes would call in, because I'd listen to sports radio. There's like pretty WFAN, which is like a very very big. It's the only major all sports talk show station. Not so much anymore. It's lost a lot of its luster in the past few years. But, they had Mike and the Mad Dog, which is a big show. And, they weren't nationally syndicated or anything like that. But it was a big deal in the tri-state area. Anyway, you'd be listening to them. And I only listen, I don't want to listen to during baseball season. But I'd be driving around listening, and they'd take a call, and like Mike and Mayapak was always his name. And you could always tell it was Sour Shoes doing a voice, and he would call in sometimes as Artie. These are to other shows, other sports shows. Like, hey, it's Artie. Like, they'd say, like, oh, hey, it's Artie. Hey, it's Artie. What do you think about the Yanks? I got these, he does the real slovenly voice, and then he'd go into a bit, and they wouldn't know what to do with him because they didn't know who he was. Or he'd call in as, like, one of the Yankees announcers, or he'd call in as Gary sometimes. He does that great Gary impression. And he'd be like, hi, it's Gary. What do you think of the Mets? And he'd do this perfect thing. And they play it straight because they didn't know that this guy was like a lunatic. And then he'd zing him with like some insane thing. So it'd be very entertaining. Like Sour Shoes is entertaining outside of the Stern Show as well. So you just figure he'd just be in his room all day listening to the radio. Like Stern was just the morning show he'd listen to. Then he'd move on to these other shows that he would call into. But so it's very, very entertaining. Is he still on? I haven't listened in Jesus. When did I stop listening? I haven't listened in 6 years. It's been over 6 years since I stopped listening. Is Sour Shoes still a part of the show for anybody that still listens? Or even High Pitch Eric for that matter? I wonder if Steve Langford is on Cameo. Would love to bring him in like Chris Hansen. Yeah, that could be interesting. Was I mad that you recited the 92 story to Perry on Sunday? No, that was fantastic, because you got him to do the story that he refused to tell up to a certain point. I couldn't believe you got as far as you did. No, I thought that was hysterical. No, not at all. You quit listening in 2014. Yeah, I should have quit in 2014. That's when Eric passed away. I stayed out of loyalty and not knowing what else to listen to. And then, but I got a few months into 2015. And I think early 2015 is when he had that horrible birthday show hosted by Jimmy Kimmel and all those celebrities. That was the real... If you didn't know the show was over before then, you knew it was over at that point. At least the show that you once knew. And then I lasted a few months more than that, and then I couldn't take it anymore. No, I've never really been annoyed at any caller on a Subscriber Sunday. I really, I'm trying to think. I can't think of any. No, especially if you can go along with Perry on a Subscriber Sunday, you're doing me a favor, because I can go to the bathroom. I can take a sneaky pee. I can get a drink of water. I can go outside or something, get a second of fresh air. Like, I'll still hear it in my ear most of the time, but I can take a breather. So yeah, if you can go along with Perry and be entertaining, that's a total win for me. And it's not true. Like for Mailbag Friday, it's not that same luxury, because you got to coach him through opening the mail and everything like that. And Wednesday, it's like, I can't miss a beat on Wednesday, but Sunday is the one day where I could take something off. Yeah, please do. Please substitute call it Dr. Randall Horn. I think calling in as the doctor rather than actual Ricky Horney would be the way to play that. But that's just one man's opinion. Yeah, plus now you sent him that Hooters shirt, which he really loved, so you're in good with Perry. I was looking just now. There was a guy here alerted me that did he did a delivery to Perry earlier, and I was trying to find the Ring camera for it, and unfortunately it didn't capture it. But me see. Where this is. Apparently there was a delivery driver that showed up and got scared from the yelling at the door, like approached the door and got freaked out and left. And normally you'd have that on the Ring camera, but you know, it goes by that kind of stuff goes by motion detector. And if somebody else tricks it earlier, like there's a lot of things the Ring misses, and unfortunately I can't find it. But I'm looking at the text message that was sent to Hero. Oh, so this is the text message between the driver and the guy who sent it. He screenshotted it for Hero, and the guy says, "Your order was dropped off. Please refer to this photo your dasher provided to see where it was left." And then the guy responds, "Did you ring the doorbell? Hi, this is DoorDash connecting you to Dasher for updates." And then the driver responds, "No, I heard a lot of yelling and decided not to." So that was just a random stranger. Oh, I wish I had this on the Ring camera, because I'm looking at the timestamp for this, and I'm trying to find where it would be, because I would pull it for you guys and play it right here, because there's a lot of that sometimes where like somebody walks by and hear, because you can hear him yelling from outside the Ring. Like you could, you just the hallway audio of the Ring picks up him yelling, and there's a lot of people sometimes that walk by and like what the hell's going on in there. Yeah, that was definitely good timing when the neighbor, because you never get the neighbors. You never. And by the way, that neighbor didn't flinch. She was like, "Oh, there's Perry doing his thing. Not going to ask any questions. Just another day." I'm just gonna see if I can click through a couple of these. Don't mind me. I'm trying. Basically, the timestamp on this goes by my time, and so it'd be 11:35 my time. Let me just see. I'm just click through these. There's a guy that waves. There's a guy that waves at the camera every time he passes by. I don't know if he knows that Perry streams or not. No, that's not it. This woman who walks her dog. I'm just clicking through these. I know you can't see it, but no. What was this one? Okay, this is him opening the door. No. Two guys walking by. No. No. Oh, missed ring. Maybe this is it. No, she rang the door. Shit. Yeah, I don't think I got it. No. Fuck. Wait, let's see this one. I'm looking past the time code because it may be... No. Fuck. It's him picking up. Oh, yeah, here he is. This guy's dropping off. I don't know. No, he knocks. And this one is... This is the robot. At least I grabbed this one. Maybe we can replay the robot thing. But yeah, big bummer that wasn't captured. Yeah, I think what happened is like the motion thing triggers and it'll go for like, so I think somebody was just walking by and triggered it, and then it takes a little while for it to reset itself. So by the time the actual delivery guy came, the guy that was freaked out by the yelling, it didn't pick it up. So yeah, who brought the bike stuff? I don't know that. Oh, so some idiots resent rings and wave at them. Maybe that's what it is? Is tomorrow's first time seeing the whole Chris Anson video? Yeah, that'll be the if he actually bothers to watch it, it'll be the first time. Yeah, I mean he did the interview, so he knows pretty much what was on there. Oh, did Swanch? Did Perry say he was going to give you the bent New York plate? That's cool. I don't know. I think he still has it. Yeah, well, now I don't have to do like because I usually would have to go through the Ring archives and download them and sync them into the YouTube edits because they would have the sound, the really good sound from the Ring on there. I don't have to do that now because now I have the sound with the Android emulator that I'm running now. So that's going to save me a ton of time because I don't have to be that detailed. I'm grabbing the here, I'll show you this. It's for anybody who missed it. This is the Perry doing the robot from earlier. I'll play this and probably call it a night. Let's see. We don't need Perry's camera. Just gotta find this. I just grabbed it, so bear with me. Here. This is from the actual Ring. If somebody asked to see the replay of the neighbor opening the door, I don't know exactly where that is, but this is the full thing.
There's shit out here that I don't want to see.
There always is.
7-Eleven sent me M&M's.
Well, we'll bring those in after. Let's do this first.
Yeah, first.
Silver Screamer has made his triumphant return to PCL. Okay, so listen, fix the shirt, and you're going to do the robot for 2 minutes. I'm going to start the trusty PCL timer. If anybody stops, you got to just say, if anybody comes by and talks to you, you got to say beep bop boop bop like a robot, okay? I added that, by the way. Do the robot, 2 minutes starting right now. That means no talking. Go ahead. The beep bop boop bop was from the original robot offer it's on YouTube now, the one that was uploaded last week from back in April, and nobody came by. So I added it here hoping that he would get to use it, and boy, did he ever. Belushi Sushi didn't stipulate that he had to do the beep bop boop bop. But I thought that was funny from the original one. It was fresh in my mind, too, because I recently edited that one. Here we go. She couldn't get away fast enough.
That good?
Oh my god. I don't know who he's talking to here. He does a good robot, actually. He's got 2 moves. He's got the robot and that one dance he does. I mean, actually, his robot's phenomenal. 30 seconds.
Say that again?
30 seconds left. Keep going. Don't talk. And that's good is he can hear me over the Ring now, so he doesn't have to bring his phone out. You only say beep bop boop bop if somebody interacts with you. Other than that, you're a silent robot. Find your mark. I'll start it. 30 seconds. Oh, that's probably true. He was beeping, booping to people waiting for the elevator. He's definitely done this before, the robot, like at a nightclub or something. All right, that's good. Can you give me hold on. Give me a robot right in front of the cam. Give me a freeze frame robot right in front of the cam. Fix the shirt first. By the way, I'm glad we finally got that shirt worked out. That was driving me crazy. And remember, if anybody passes by, even in this period, you gotta go beep pop, boop pop. Freeze frame robot right in front of this camera. No, right in front of the camera, not back up. Right in front of the camera. She doesn't even give him the time of day. No, freeze frame in front of the camera, please, with the arms out. No, that's not a robot. No, robot, not Scary Perry. Robot, arms to the side. Freeze frame, robot, really close up to the camera if you can. I was trying to get this for a thumbnail. Oh, arms out. All right, good enough. That'll haunt your dreams. Anyway, that was, I think that was probably the highlight from tonight. I like somebody else offered like something for him to do in the hallway, and it just had been done. But I like the new like this was like he had done the robot before, and I normally don't like to be derivative and repeat the same like stunts. But number one, it was Belushi Sushi, so I did it. Number two, I liked he hadn't done it with the wrestling mask. Actually looks like a robot, and I think it was funny. So the whole building must know that he's a streamer, right? Otherwise, they'd be I think he's some insane drag guy. I think some do, and some probably don't. Because again, you got to realize that apartment complex has a high turnover rate. Perry's the only person that's been in there as long as he has. Perry's the only one that's already made that his permanent home. Most other people that are in that building are just there like they're down on. If you're in that building, you're down on your luck, and you're it's not your permanent home. You're like I'm gonna live here until I get my shit together and can go somewhere else. That's why both apartments next door to him, you know, they're only occupied for like, you know, a year or two, and then they turn around. So there are some people that have been there a little while and they kind of know who he is, but you know, again, I've looked at the Ring camera enough to know the turnover. I see new people all the time. I also see people moving all the time, like boxes, because sometimes I have to go through the Ring camera to pull stuff or look at something. So I see people with boxes and stuff. Does Mrs. Majestic still live there? I don't think she does. Small vote here, but the defiant throwing away of Skittles deserves some restoration of vetoes or something. Here's the thing with the vetoes. It's very tough to pull off. I can veto certain things. When it comes to him eating stuff, I feel uncomfortable using a veto because then it's making like I'm forcing him to do something. And I think the stream only works in that capacity when it comes to offers, when he accepts the logic of the offer and the financial gain that he's going to get. And when it turns into a thing like you're forcing him to do something, it's not as to me it's not as it loses a bit of innocence, for lack of a better word, and it makes it more like bullying in a way. So I'm careful where I use the vetoes. Very sparingly. It would have to be the right kind of offer. So it's never going to be the kind of offer where he's diametrical, because I can't force him to do something. What I prefer to do instead of the veto is instill logic in him and talk him into accepting something that he immediately said no to, but then thinks about it, realizes it's easy money and he should do it, and then he does it. Like there was somebody in the chat like tonight that they were just going on and on and on about, like, they were writing short novels about how, oh, the stream's not going to last long because he's not accepting offers, and there's other streams that do stunts, and they accept everything. It's like, yeah, but that's what kind of makes him him. You know, if he accepted everything, it would kind of be boring, wouldn't it? Like, that's just my opinion, at least. Oh, okay. You said it recently that she's still in the building. I didn't catch that. Okay. So clearly you know more than me. Did Perry assault Mrs. Majestic? No, he had sex with her, though, while her husband was still alive. Jesus. Strange in LA, my wife saw a naked lady masturbating on the sidewalk today. That is, yeah, wow. I liked hearing that Ben Cartwright, Lauren Green, used to own the property. I would definitely move there myself. I would go there. Well, it wasn't Lauren Green. It was Lauren Green's son. But it definitely, just a couple of degrees away from Ben Cartwright himself. Yeah, Rach something. I forget what her thing was. It was just like, I couldn't look at it. It was just this long thing, and it went on and on. And I think Joey finally kicked her because it was getting annoying. Yeah, I forget what her point was, or if it was a her or he. I forget what the point was. It was just like, I get that people get annoyed that he doesn't accept offers. I get it. I get annoyed, but that's just the nature of the beast. And then he'll maybe on Friday accept more. You know, you do it 3 days a week. He's not gonna be the same guy every stream. If he was, that would be boring, and that wouldn't reduce the longevity. But their whole point was just strange. Like, how dare you not accept offers? Strangely, that person typing the long messages was a subscriber. Yes, weird. Now, you know how people has notes to himself hung by his computer. We need to get a Toyota truck hung there. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a very good point. Perry holds us at full attention while he declines microwaving a pizza that just arrived. I'm confident that PCL has potential. Yes, I agree with you, Russell. I think we've only just begun. Were you really shocked at how black the outside of the air conditioner was? I mean, I can't say I was. Here's what I love about Perry reads the chat, because there's two screens he's looking at. He's looking at his main window, but he can also see what I see in Streamlabs, where he sees the side panel. And I think he looks at the smaller side panel, but doesn't read. I want him to read the one on the screen, which is easier for him. And he always does this move where he's let me put my glasses on. And he puts the glasses on, and then he's like, fuck it, I'll take them off. It's worse. And then he reads them without the glasses. So that whole process takes about a minute. And then he yells at me when it goes too fast, because people know that he's reading the chat, so they'll start typing in fast, and Car prices are going insane. Hope it goes normal again. He needs a car. Yeah, and I've already thought about, like, there's definitely things in place to get him a new car. I don't think it's going to be brand new, like a 2021, but something he'd be very happy with and would be more attainable. But yeah, that Corolla is not long for the world. Not the way he drives it either. He's really hard on it. Anybody who's ridden in the car with him will attest to that. I don't know if there's anybody here. I don't know if there's anybody here that's ridden in a car with him, aside from me. He doesn't. He reads the chat. He reads the chat when we're doing during the pre-show when we're starting. You know, when he's getting up and down to pee and getting up and down to do all these different things, he does see the chat and he talks to me about it, but nobody can hear him. But yeah, he glances at it. Like once in a while, like we'll set up the show and we'll be on the starting screen, you know, where the music's playing, and I'll be out of the room or something like that, or I'll like, you know, be getting a drink or something, and I'll be in his ear. I'll be talking to him, and he'll be like, "No, I'm not gay. That'll never be discussed." Or he'll just be going like, "It's not getting removed." Like, Pepper, who are you talking to? These motherfuckers in the fucking chat. They're the motherfuckers on my screen. Like, wait, Perry, we're not on yet. We're not on yet. You know, because his microphone is muted at the start. So, like, it's just me. You don't have to go crazy. Oh, these motherfuckers. So once in a while, I like him to do that, like interact a little bit before the stream starts. But there's so many things I got to check off the list with him that it makes it hard to do that. He's got to take his pills. He's got to do this. He's got to make sure he's going to the bathroom. Yeah, one of the funniest pre-stream outrages when people were spamming his address. Yeah, that's the old days now. Mumbles, because, you know, obviously we can't do that anymore because, you know, for obvious reasons. Yeah, he was really going insane with that. That feels like a long time ago now. It seems like forever ago. All right, guys, I got to call it a night. I just realized the time. It's like 4:20, and I do got to be up. Well, I don't got to be up crazy early. I got to be up somewhat early. So I'll call it here, and I'll just say thanks. You know, Wednesdays can go either way sometimes, and I think it was good. I think you know, there's a period where you hit that lull where he's just completely wiped out, and you know you're on borrowed time. But I think we got through it quite well, and he raged out again at the end, which makes that 2 streams in a row. He needs to get his prostate checked. No one needs to get. He did get his prostate checked not that long ago. I just think he has a really weak bladder. But yeah, I don't know. He's getting all the checks. He went to the doctor, and they basically all his blood work came back fine, and he said he just had slightly high cholesterol. Not too bad. I believe he does sleep in the nude, Mumbles, but I cannot confirm that personally. But I believe he does. Good night, George. Good night, guys. I'm glad Perry doesn't have to worry about managing the Twitch channel. So many streamers have to manage the channel themselves. So Perry is able to focus on the main part. Yeah, I think that's good and bad. He doesn't have to manage anything, but he sits there, gets a little too comfortable, storms off and everything. Yeah, I manage the actual, you know, nuts and bolts of it. Oh, Tim, cool. You can check his prostate for him. I know. I'm sure you know what to look for. All right, guys. We'll see you on Friday, and I'm gonna try. I can't guarantee it for tomorrow, but I got to go through that rainbow Rainbow Skittles Man road trip video, which is enormous. And I don't see myself editing it at all, so I'm just going to put it up as is. It could be, like I said, it could be like 4 hours, or it could be less. I don't know. It could be another 2.5 hours. I don't know, but I'll put that up there. But we'll see you on Friday for Mailbag Friday. Thanks, Russell. Really appreciate that. Yeah, I feel you're right. And Russell, straight up, thank you for all the positive comments today. They didn't go unmissed for me, from me. I saw them all, and I appreciate everything you said. But all right, good night, guys. I'll see you later. Thanks for hanging out. I always feel like I want to say like thanks for hanging out after hours or something cheesy like that. But I do appreciate you guys hanging out. For as long as you did. See you next time.